They say distance makes the heart grow fonder. But in truth, distance doesn't just make you miss someone, it makes you meet yourself in the process. It tests your strength, your patience, and your faith in ways only love can. When two hearts are miles apart, every word matters, every silence speaks, and every day becomes a lesson in endurance. Some people think distance breaks love, but those who've lived it know it doesn't break what's real, it builds it stronger. Because when love can survive absence, it proves it was never built on presence. It was built on connection, trust, and a bond that even time can't erase. Distance tests commitment in a way that nothing else can. When two hearts are separated by miles, by time zones, or by the circumstances of life, love faces a reality check. It's no longer about constant presence or daily reassurance. It becomes about loyalty that survives silence. Many people fall in love when everything is easy, when communication is frequent, and when affection is instantly available. But true love is revealed when the comfort of closeness disappears. Distance removes the distractions and exposes what's real. It forces both people to ask themselves, do I love this person for who they are, or just for the comfort of having them around? When someone is far away, you can't depend on physical gestures or constant validation. You can't touch their hand or see their smile every day. What remains is the emotional connection, the belief in what you share, and the effort you continue to make despite the obstacles. Commitment becomes a conscious choice rather than a convenient habit. It's in those quiet nights of missing someone that you truly understand how much they mean to you. Love becomes less about presence and more about promise. The promise to stay loyal, to stay patient, and to keep believing even when distance tries to create doubt. Some relationships fade when distance appears because they were built on temporary emotions, not genuine connection. But the ones that endure prove that love isn't limited by space or time. Distance teaches discipline. It demands consistency. You learn to express love through words, through patience, through trust. You realize that commitment is not about possession, but about perseverance. Each day apart becomes a silent testimony of faith. Faith that what you share is strong enough to outlast loneliness, misunderstandings, and longing. Those who survive distance emerge stronger because they've learned to love without conditions. They've learned that commitment is not proven in comfort, but in endurance. When the world pulls you apart and you still find your way back, that's not luck. That's true dedication. Distance doesn't destroy real love. It refines it. It strips away the superficial and leaves behind only what's genuine, resilient, and pure. That is the kind of love that not only survives distance, but becomes unbreakable because of it. When two people are separated by distance, communication becomes their most powerful bridge. In the absence of touch and shared moments, words become the heartbeat of love. Every message, every late night call, every whispered "I miss you" carries weight because it's all they have to hold on to. Distance forces couples to talk with intention, not just about daily routines, but about feelings, fears, dreams, and future plans. They learn to listen with empathy and to speak with honesty. When you can't show love through physical closeness, you have to express it through depth, through understanding, and through sincerity. Many relationships rely too much on physical presence to feel connected, but distance changes that completely. It removes the comfort of being able to read someone's body language or sense their mood instantly. Instead, you must learn to communicate from the soul. You start to pay attention to tone, to pauses, to every word that comes through the line. You begin to realize that true love is not about how often you see each other, but how deeply you connect when you talk. Conversations become sacred, not rushed or distracted. Even a short exchange becomes meaningful because it carries emotion that words alone must deliver. Distance teaches you how to express affection in ways that go beyond the surface. You learn to write messages that touch the heart, to share thoughts that matter, to communicate appreciation in ways you might have taken for granted before. Instead of relying on physical gestures, you build emotional intimacy, the kind that lasts longer than any hug or kiss. You become more open, more vulnerable, and more expressive because that's the only way love can breathe across miles. In long-distance love, communication is not just about staying in touch. It's about staying connected in spirit. It's about creating emotional moments that remind both people that love still lives, even when time zones divide them. This kind of communication doesn't just strengthen love, it matures it. It builds a relationship that's rooted in understanding and emotional honesty, a bond that can survive anything because it was built through words that carried the weight of the heart. Trust becomes the heartbeat of love when distance steps in. Without it, even the strongest relationships begin to crumble. When two people are miles apart, there are no constant reassurances, no daily signs of affection, no physical presence to silence doubt. What keeps love alive is belief that the other person is loyal, honest, and emotionally present even when physically distant. Trust becomes the foundation on which the entire relationship stands. It's not built overnight. It's tested every day through silence, through missed calls, through delays, and through the uncertainties that distance brings. In a world where communication is instant, but emotions are fragile, distance challenges both partners to hold faith in each other without needing proof. There are moments of loneliness, moments when imagination tries to create fear, when questions like, are they thinking of me? Or do they still care begin to whisper in the mind? But love that's true refuses to listen to insecurity. It chooses patience over panic. It chooses understanding over accusation. That's what trust looks like. Not the absence of doubt, but the courage to rise above it. When you trust someone across distance, you give them freedom. The freedom to live their life while still being yours in heart. You stop counting how many times they message or how quickly they reply. You stop needing control because your bond isn't built on constant checking. It's built on quiet confidence. That kind of faith is powerful because it replaces fear with peace. It tells both hearts, even when we're apart, I know where I belong. Oh, true trust doesn't mean you never worry. It means you never let worry win. It's about believing that your love is strong enough to endure temptation, distraction, and time. Distance, instead of being a threat, becomes a training ground for loyalty. It teaches both people the meaning of emotional maturity. And when they finally meet again, that trust, forged through waiting and tested through miles, becomes unshakable. Love that survives distance is love that has proven itself. Because when trust stands firm across miles, it doesn't just hold the relationship together. It transforms it into something deeper, stronger, and beautifully unbreakable. When distance separates two people who love each other, something powerful happens. They are given space to grow individually. It's easy to lose yourself in a relationship when you're always together, when every moment revolves around the other person. But distance forces you to rediscover who you are outside of the relationship. It challenges you to stand on your own, to build confidence, to chase personal goals, and to develop emotional strength. When love is real, growth doesn't pull people apart. It pulls them closer, because as both individuals evolve, the bond between them matures too. Being apart gives time to reflect on what truly matters. You start to understand your needs, your priorities, and the value of love in your life. You learn patience, independence, and resilience, qualities that make you not only a better partner, but a better person. Distance strips away the dependency that can sometimes weaken relationships. It replaces it with self-awareness and discipline. You begin to realize that love is not about clinging. It's about supporting each other's journey, even when it takes you in different directions for a while. When two people use that time apart to grow, their love deepens in meaning. They bring new energy, new perspective, and new strength to the relationship. They learn new things, explore new experiences, and discover new parts of themselves that they can share with each other. Instead of feeling empty, the distance becomes a season of preparation, a time to become the best version of yourself for the person you love. It transforms longing into motivation. Every goal achieved, every challenge overcome becomes a silent message that says, I'm growing forward. Distance has a way of filtering what's real. It removes the constant noise and distractions of everyday presence and allows love to breathe through purpose and progress. When two people grow separately but remain connected in heart, their reunion becomes more powerful. They don't just return as the same people who said goodbye. They return wiser, stronger, and more ready to build something lasting. Growth turned distance is proof that love doesn't stand still. It evolves. And when it evolves, it doesn't just survive the distance. It becomes unstoppable because it was strengthened through transformation. When distance enters a relationship, it teaches the heart the true meaning of appreciation. In the beginning, love often feels ordinary because presence becomes routine. You see the person, talk to them, and share moments so naturally that you sometimes forget how precious those moments are. But when distance separates two hearts, suddenly the smallest gestures start to carry immense value. A text message feels like a hug. A call feels like a meeting of souls. Every word becomes meaningful because it bridges the gap between two worlds. Distance transforms ordinary communication into emotional treasures that remind you how special love truly is. Being apart awakens gratitude. You start to realize how much that person means to you, how their laughter brightened your days, how their presence brought peace to your heart. Love that was once taken for granted becomes a gift you count every day. You learn not to expect constant contact, but to cherish every second you receive. The waiting, the missing, the counting of days, all of it deepens the emotional connection. Distance changes how you view time. Moments together are no longer casual. They're sacred. It's no longer about how much time you spend together, but how deeply you feel it when you finally do. True love doesn't fade in absence. It becomes more intentional. Every effort matters. Every call counts. Every promise feels stronger. You begin to love more consciously, with purpose and care. The distance teaches you to be grateful not only for presence, but also for patience. You understand that love isn't about constant access. It's about constant effort. The heart learns that waiting can be beautiful when it's for the right person. When reunion finally comes, every touch feels electric. Every glance feels like home. You don't take the moment for granted because you've tasted what it feels like to miss it. The value of presence becomes priceless because you've lived through absence. Distance doesn't weaken love. It refines it. It removes the shallow layers and reveals the pure emotion underneath. Gratitude. Gratitude for the person who waited, for the love that endured, and for the bond that not even miles could break. When love learns to value presence this deeply, it becomes timeless. When distance finally ends and two hearts that have waited so long reunite, it feels like the world suddenly breathes again. Every moment apart, every sleepless night, every message that carried hope leads to this one powerful moment of togetherness. The reunion is not just about being in the same place again. It's about celebrating everything that love survived. It's about honoring the patience, the faith, and the unshakable commitment that kept two souls connected despite the miles. That first hug after being apart carries the weight of every longing and every unspoken word. It's a silent victory for love that refused to give up. Distance has a way of building emotional strength, and when that distance fades, what's left is gratitude. You begin to see your partner not as someone you simply love, but as someone who walked with you through the hardest test of time and space. You cherish their presence more deeply, speak more softly, and love more intentionally. Every shared meal, every laugh, every quiet evening feels richer because it was once a dream you waited to live again. Reunion transforms ordinary moments into miracles because you know how painful it was to live without them. That joy of reunion is also a reminder of resilience. You both survived the doubt, the loneliness, and the uncertainty that distance brought. You didn't just hold on. You grew stronger. You learned to trust, to communicate, to value, and to love beyond physical limits. So when you come back together, your love feels new but wiser. It's not naive or impulsive. It's grounded in experience, in growth, in understanding. You no longer see love as something fragile. You see it as something that endures storms and still shines brighter afterward. Every reunion after distance is a story of triumph. It proves that real love doesn't fade when it's tested, it evolves. It becomes more resilient, more grateful, more alive. The moments of separation turn into memories of strength, and every tear of missing turns into a smile of fulfillment. When two hearts find each other again after walking through distance, it's more than just a reunion. It's a rebirth of love that's been purified by time, patience, and faith. Distance doesn't destroy true love. It defines it. It teaches two people the power of patience, the importance of trust, and the beauty of growing both together and apart. It strips away what's shallow and strengthens what's real. When love survives distance, it's no longer a simple emotion. It becomes a deep connection built on faith, effort, and understanding. Distance shows that love isn't about how often you see someone, but how deeply you feel them even when they're far away. It proves that when two hearts are meant for each other, no space, no time, no obstacle can break the bond they share. Because real love doesn't demand constant presence, it thrives on commitment, belief, and emotional strength. So if you're walking through the challenge of distance right now, don't lose hope. Let it shape you, let it refine your heart, and let it teach you what true love really means. Because when you finally come back together, the love you share will be stronger, deeper, and unshakable. Good luck to every heart that's loving across miles. May your faith stay firm, your patience stay strong, and your love continue to grow beyond every distance. Thank you for believing in love that endures, love that fights, and love that wins in the end.